anybody this year, and I guess we'll find out here in a few hours because, as we've been talking all program here, I really expect the Patriots to come out and just have a vengefulness about them and really want to show the world what they're all about.
A vengeful New England Patriots sounds very dangerous indeed. Let's just widen it out then to some of the other teams in the league at the start of the new season. Chris, what about the team that the Patriots beat in the Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks? How do you see them faring this year?
Well, they're probably the best team in the league. There's certainly more chance that they'll be back in the Super Bowl than the Patriots, especially if Brady ends up having to serve a 4-game suspension at some point. But the one question with them right now is Cam Chancellor, the safety, not signing yet. If he returns to the team, they probably are the best team in football right now.
Rocky, what other teams do you think we should be following this season in terms of picking a potential Super Bowl winner at the start of the campaign?
Well, I agree with Chris, and the Seattle Seahawks arguably have the best overall roster in the NFL, and they have the experience. They've been there. They've got a great quarterback. But in terms of another team, you also have to look at the Green Bay Packers. Have, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the game right now. I mean, obviously Brady is Brady, but Aaron Rodgers is really in the prime of his career. He's going to be hurt a little bit by the fact that one of his best wide receivers, Jordy Nelson, went down for the season. But, Aaron Rodgers is so good. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's very prolific. Any way you try to beat him, he can counterpunch you. So I think if their defense can answer some questions this year, I think the Packers will certainly be in the conversation as well.
I am amazed, Chris, that you and Rocky agree on anything, because I hear there is a bit of a reason why you shouldn't like each other, right?
Well, unfortunately, Rocky chose the worst university in the United States to go to, whereas I chose the best one. So the rivalry between USC and Notre Dame, especially on the college football level, is kind of like the biggest one in the world. So unfortunately for him, he had to go to South Bend while I was in Los Angeles.
Let me just say this. In my career, I have no control on the games anymore, but in my career, I'm 3 wins and just 1 loss versus USC. So there you go.
And Chris, you've never played, so there's nothing you can say about this. Thank you very much to Chris Laritis and Rocky Byman for previewing the new NFL season. We've been asking you what you think as well about this season. Who is going to win Super Bowl 50? Justin in the USA says it's going to come down to injuries. That sounds a bit boring. But I think the Green Bay Packers can win, says Justin in America. And of course, it's an international sport. Timo in Brazil says it's the San Francisco 49ers. Nobody is better than us, says Timo. We're going to move on to tennis now, and while Serena Williams may well make sure that home fans are cheering at the end of the US Open, there's a bit of a European feel about the semi-final stage. In the women's draw, 2 Italian players have made it into the last 4 for the first time ever in the Open era, and Flavia Pennetta and Roberta Vinci could yet make it an all-Italian final. I think it's fair to say they've got their work cut out, though, whilst in the men's draw, after convincing wins on Wednesday, there will be an all-Swiss semi between these two.
I think now we're both nervous when we enter the court. Before it was only me. I was nervous because I knew I wasn't at his level for sure. That's a big difference because that shows how much he knows that I can play.
Subconsciously, he knows what your preferences are, where you like to go, where you're probably going to go, and probably he feels the same way. So that's the weird part. I feel like we meet each other somewhere in our minds, before the point is being played out.
You probably guessed that one was Roger Federer, and before him, Stanislas Wawrinka. Let's go live to Flushing Meadows in New York and speak to our tennis correspondent, Russell Fuller. Russell, we've seen Wawrinka upset the odds now so many times. Are we at the stage where actually it wouldn't be a shock if Wawrinka were to beat Federer?
Generally speaking, that is absolutely the case, Steve. Although the way Federer has played, not just here in New York, but in Cincinnati when he won the Masters title 2 weeks before the US Open, I think it would be a little bit of an upset if he is beaten. Having said that, Wawrinka can beat him. He knows he can beat him. He's beaten him at the French Open. He's beaten him on grass, rather, at Wimbledon. He's beaten him on clay. He's never beaten him on a hard court, though. But I think that statistic... Wawrinka certainly believes he can win it, and Federer knows what a huge threat he is. It's just the way that Federer is playing at the moment. He is expending virtually no energy on court. He beat Richard Gasquet, a Wimbledon semi-finalist, in that quarter-final last night in 1 hour and 27 minutes, playing simply breathtaking tennis. Wawrinka had his best match of the fortnight by far, coming through so easily against Kevin Anderson of South Africa, who'd beaten Andy Murray in the last round. He only conceded 5 points to the South African as he took the final set 6-love. So both players coming to their best form at the right time. It should be a thrilling semi-final.
And speaking of players finding their best form, Flavia Pennetta and Roberta Vinci, as I mentioned, should we be getting ready for the rise of Italian tennis?
Well, they are coming towards the end of their career, if I may be so indiscreet and so bold, in that Pennetta is 33 years of age and Vinci is 32 years of age, but this has a real surprise. First time ever in a Grand Slam semi-final. Pennetta, we shouldn't be quite so surprised to see her here, because it was her 6th quarter-final in 8 years, twice through to the semi-finals now, and very, very good on the hard court. She won the Indian Wells title last year. They now have the ultimate tests in the sport, particularly Vinci, because she is the player who has to stop Serena Williams in the semi-final later if the match goes ahead. It's raining at the moment in New York, and thunderstorms and quite heavy rain are forecast for the evening session, so it's possible the women's semi-finals won't be played until tomorrow. And Pennetta up against Simona Halep, who, having beaten Victoria Azarenka in quite a grueling quarter-final, has very much justified her seeding as the second best player in the world.
Russell, thank you very much for joining us. That's our tennis correspondent, Russell Fuller, live at the US Open. On to football now on Sport Today. And the coach of Nations final has urged Yaya Touré not to retire from international football. The Manchester City midfielder decided not to play in this month's qualifier against Sierra Leone. He is said to be reflecting on his future with the national team. Our football reporter John Bennett is here. John, why would Touré quit the national team?
3 reasons for me, Steve. After 23 years of waiting, Ivory Coast finally got their hands on the Africa Cup of Nations trophy in January, so this might be the best time to bow out. 2, he's not getting any younger, playing in the Premier League and playing lethargic at times. And 3, there are rumours he's unhappy with the Ivorian Federation. I've been talking to Francois Zawi, who was the Ivory Coast head coach. 12. So I asked him, should Yaya retire from international football?
No, I think he should continue because all the great players, whether it is Pele, Maradona, Platini or Zidane, they played for their countries until the end of their careers, trying to win trophies with their national teams. Yahya is still young. He is still enormously talented. Of course, it is up to him. The decision is his. But if I had advice for him, it would be to say, do your maximum to bring as many trophies as you can to Ivory Coast.